Hello and welcome to the CAM trial video on assemblies. So with this video we wanted to give you the tools that you would need to import your own files, create your own assemblies so that you can in turn program some toolpath on models of your own and not just the model provided with this trial. So let's just jump right into it and show you how to import your own files. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is just create a known location where you can store all of your files at. I'm going to choose a spot on the desktop here, and I'm just going to create a new folder. And I'm going to, I don't know, I'll name it, you can name it whatever you want. I'm going to name it models. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is open the File Explorer on your desktop and browse to the location of the files that you want to transfer. Now, you're not going to have any part files like you see here, but whatever files you want to transfer have to be a translation from whatever software you're using. I'm going to recommend step files. They work great. So once you have your files selected, you can now just drag them over to the folder that you created on the online environment desktop, and then just make sure that it is going to the correct location and select OK, and it's going to now upload all of your files to this location on the online environment. So now you can use these files in your NX sessions. Alright, so now we want to create part files from the step files that we have uploaded. So the first thing we're going to do is create a new part file. So under File New, it's going to bring up this dialog box. Model tab. Just make sure my units are set to inches because the file that I'm importing is an inch file. And then down here, this is where you will set the location that your file is going to be saved at. I'm going to choose the same location the files are at that I'm importing. And then the name of the file that I'll be creating, I'm just going to call it the same name of the file that I'm going to import. And I'm going to click OK. So now it's created this new part file, and now we just need to import. File import. I'm going to click step 214, and we'll browse to the step file that I've uploaded. This is going to be my stock file. I'll leave all the settings just out of the box. Click OK, and it's going to import the step file into our NX part file. As soon as that's done, I'm going to delete this coordinate system that just comes out of the box when you create a new file. And then if you right click fit, you're now going to see the stock that I've imported. And from there I'm just going to go File, Save Work Part Only, and that's just going to save this file here. And then I can now create a new part file again and follow the same steps, and I'm going to name this one the other file that I'll be importing. OK, and we'll do the exact same thing. File import, step 214, browse to the part file that I want to import, click OK, and click OK again. Once that's imported, I'm going to delete this coordinate system again, and we will hit fit, and you will now see the part file that I've imported. So from there, I'm just going to click File, Save, and we can close these out now, and we will be importing those into a new file, not importing but assembling into a new file. So now I'm going to hit New, and I'm just going to create another blank file, and I'm going to call this CAM trial assembly. And again, I'm just going to delete this because we don't need it. And now we got a blank file, and I want to create an assembly with the files that I have translated. So now under Assemblies, you have a few options here. I'm going to hit this Add Component. And I'm going to, under Open, hit this folder here and browse to the part file that I just created. Click OK. And I'm going to leave the component anchor as absolute, and the assembly location I'm going to set to absolute work part. And this is just going to make sure that everything is set to absolute coordinates whenever we import this file. And under settings, just going to set this on a layer that I'm not on right now, and just call this layer 3. I'm going to hit OK. Now it's going to ask me if I want to create a fixed constraint. Since this is the part file, I don't want it to move, so I'm going to go ahead and click yes and allow it to create a constraint that's going to just fix it into that location. So now you'll see under Assemblies, I now have a CAM trial part with its constraints, and if we go to our layer settings, make sure that layer is turned on, and then we will fit, and you'll now see the assembled component. Now you'll see it's kind of got some jagged edges there. It's just because it's not fully loaded. So if you right click this and just hit show exact, you'll get a much better representation. Now we're going to import the stock on top of this. Not import, but assemble. So we'll hit add component again, and we'll browse to the stock file that we created. Click OK, and make sure it's set to absolute again. Now I'm going to put this on a separate layer so you can differentiate between the two, turn them on and off. So I'm going to set that to 4. I'm going to click OK. Now the stock is on top of that. So now I'm just going to make this translucent so we can see the two. If you go to Display, Edit Object, and select your part, and click OK, and then you got this translucency bar, and you can drag that to make it as translucent as you want. And click OK, and now you have a part file with your stock on the top of it that you can use for your CAM operations. So now I'm going to go ahead and assemble in a fixture that goes along with this and show you how to manipulate that into the correct position. So we're going to go back to Assemblies, Add Component. Now the assembly that I have, it's already device is its own assembly. That's going to pull in the base and the jaw with it. So I'm just going to click device. Looky there, my session is going to expire. So if this pops up, if you've been in it for a while, just click yes. It's going to give you another hour. Alright, so now click OK. And then make sure everything's absolute again. I'm going to put this on layer 5. I'm going to hit OK with that. So now you see it didn't populate here. This was saved in a different location in space. So if I was to hit fit, you're going to see, oh, my assembly's way out here. So now we need to move that assembly to the correct location to match up with our part in stock. So this being an assembled feature, you have to hit move component. And first thing I'm going to do is just get this in the general location. So I'm going to leave this on dynamic, it's already set to the center of the coordinate system. I'm going to just come down here and going to my snap's not turned on. So right here you have this snap bar that comes up a lot of the times whenever you're working. Um, Nothing is selected, so it's not snapping to anything. So I'm just going to select endpoint here. Now I can select this endpoint, and it has now thrown my fixture to that specific point. So I'm just going to click OK, and now it's in a spot where I can work with it. So now we want to get this dovetail jaws lined up with our dovetails that are stock. So I'm going to use constraints to do that. I'm going to start with the touch constraint, and it's very important to note that the order in which you select the features matters. It's going to move whichever feature you select first. It's going to move that overall model or component to the feature that you select second. So if I was to select this face and constrain it to this face, it would move the stock to the fixture. We want to move the fixture to the stock, so I'm going to constrain this face to touch this face. And then I also know that I want the dovetail to be touching the dovetail groove in the stock. So I'm going to hit touch again, select this face, and have it touch this face. And then lastly, I'm going to use the distance constraint, and I want to constrain this face to this face on the stock, and I'm going to have it stay about a quarter of an inch away and hit OK. So that fully constrains fixture to the stock. One thing I did notice is we have not constrained the stock itself. I just want it to be a fixed spot, so I'm going to select my stock, hit fixed, and now we've added that constraint as well. So just go over here to our assembly navigator and take a look at it. You'll see our vise that we just assembled in and constrained. You can turn off multiple pieces of this stock or this fixture. You can hide and show the entire fixture, your stock. And up here you also have your constraints that will assign to these assemblies. So what we've essentially done is locked this assembly in place. So if I was to want to move this fixture, it is not going to allow me to move this fixture in any direction because we have successfully constrained it in space and it cannot accidentally move in the future. This concludes our basic overview of assemblies and how to get your own part file imported into your trial session.